All right, let's get started. So, my name is Dana Thomas. I am an attorney in Atlanta. I practice entertainment and entrepreneurship law. I am so passionate about entrepreneurship and entertainment. I used to be the entertainer when I was younger, did tap dance, jazz, ballet, sang in the choir, auditioned for Broadway, all of that good stuff. And then as I got older, I started to be more interested in the legal side and business. So decided to marry entertainment and law and practice entertainment law. And as I got older, I started to realize that the way towards a happy lifestyle really is entrepreneurship. So I started planning for my own law firm from my first year of law school. So actually, I never even sent out my resume for any jobs. While everyone else was scrambling looking for a position somewhere to work after they graduated, I didn't send a resume to not one single employer because I was so confident in my mission and my journey to becoming an entrepreneur, and I had planned it out for 3 years while I was in law school, and now I have my firm. It's been a couple of months so far, but things are going so great. Just wanted to share information with you all and just let you know that there's really nothing to be scared of when it comes to starting a business. I know the scariest part can be not having enough information. So along with providing my legal services, I want to provide you guys with some information and just some inspiration to get started yourself. So feel free to send me questions through chat and we will get started. So the first thing that you want to do when you're getting ready to start a business is to plan. You want to actually write down all of your plans, write down all of your thoughts, write it down. What is your service? What is your product? What is your service? Write it down. What does it look like? Why is it valuable? What are you offering to the public? You also want to write down how committed you are to making it happen. When you're starting a business, there are a lot of things that you might have to sacrifice. I don't even watch TV anymore. When I was in law school, I had a lot of time, believe it or not, to watch TV. I watch no TV anymore. So I've sacrificed that. I've sacrificed vacations with my friends. You know, my sister's turning, 30 this year, and she just invited me to go out of the country for her birthday, and I had to turn her down because I'm putting all of my money into my business. So there are a lot of things that you're going to have to change or sacrifice, but it'll definitely be worth it if your business is your passion and you're committed to it. You also want to write down your customer. So what does your potential customer look like? Your ideal customer. What do they look like? Where do they shop? How old is that person? What do they eat? What do they like to do? What makes them happy? You have to know the person that you're going after. If you don't know the type of person that you're going after, then you're not really going to know how to sell that service or product to them. So make sure that you write down exactly the demographic of the person that you're targeting so that you can make sure that your service and your product is tailored to where that person is, how they consume information. Also, you want to plan how are you going to get your prototype for your product, if you have a product, or get your service off the ground. So along with that comes who's going to be on your team. So people often think that there's something called a self-made millionaire. There's no such thing. The real thing is a team-made millionaire. There are no millionaires that did it all on their own, except if you won the lottery. But that's not the case right now. We're talking about building businesses. So there's no such thing as a self-made millionaire. It's just a team-made millionaire. So who are you going to need on your team to make your dream happen? Write those names down. Make those connections. Start building your network. So everything that you need, just write it down in steps. What I did, I had a notebook and also a dry erase board for everything that I needed to do. And as I did them, I checked them off. Sometimes I might have had 2 free hours and I looked at my list and I saw, well, what can I do in 2 hours? One of my things was changing my phone number. I had a 516 area code, which was for New York, and one of my things on my list was to change my number to a 404 area code because I'd be doing business in Atlanta. So I didn't want to have a New York area code as a business owner in Atlanta. I did that in 30 minutes, but I probably wouldn't have thought to do that if it wasn't on my list, and that would have been saved for last. So just make sure you keep a list of everything you need to do, check it off, make reminders for yourself. That will help you stay focused. Also in your planning, you want to talk about how are you going to sell your product? What types of channels are you going to use? And we'll talk more about marketing and branding strategies in a minute. You also want to consider how much money do you have access to right now? I know money is the tough topic, but we have to really be serious and honest about how much money we're working with. So how much do you have in your savings? What do you already have, and how much more are you going to need? Figure out what it's going to cost to get your product or service off the ground. That might be going to stores or making phone calls and getting quotes for different things, or will you need a printer for your service or your business? What are all the items that you're going to need to get started? Write all of those things down and price them out. It's okay if you don't plan on starting your business for the next 2 or 3 years. Call these, companies and pretend like you're starting tomorrow so you can get quotes. Even though that price might change over the next couple of years, at least you have a ballpark figure of how much you're going to need. All right, next we're going to talk about your life. So that's also something that's really important for starting a business. Everyone is starting from different points in their lives. So you also want to consider if you have kids, that might take up, or definitely will take up some more of your time. Are you married? That might be a good or a bad thing. You might have some additional support or additional stress. It depends on your situation. Are you in school? You can start a business while you're in school, but definitely consider if that should be your focus. I didn't want to start anything. It could have been a different business while in law school, but you kind of want to focus on school if you are in school. So maybe you want to make sure that you save your business until after. Do you have 2 mortgages, 1 mortgage, 3 mortgages, different things like that? Those things will affect whether you can start your business now or what your timeline will be. So by no means am I saying that if you're married or if you have kids or if you have a mortgage that you shouldn't start a business. It's just that you have to be more considerate of the moves that you're making and what your timeline is realistically going to be. So consider your responsibilities. Will you be a full-time entrepreneur? Like me, I just started full-time right out the gate. Or you might be a part-time entrepreneur. You might have a day job, but then at night you're working on your own business. All of these things are possible. You'll definitely have to work out a strategy about how you're going to get from part-time to full-time. But depending on what your situation is, you can start out as a part-time entrepreneur. The point is just to get started. All right. Next, we're going to talk about some legal things, which is my favorite topic, not to be cliche. All right. So first, we're going to talk about business entity types. Definitely recommend that you get likely a limited liability company for your business. So there are different types of entity structures that you can use. You've heard of LLCs, which are limited liability companies, and my favorite for small businesses, corporations, partnerships, and I don't really recommend sole proprietorships, but we'll go through all of them. So an LLC will give you limited liability, and what that means is that if someone sues your company, then you will not be personally liable, meaning that they can't come after your house or your car, if it's the business that did the error or the business that's getting sued. There definitely are some situations where you may be personally liable. It's a wide variety of things, so you should definitely consider speaking to a lawyer about that. But with an LLC, only the business assets are at stake. So whatever the business owns or whatever money's in the business bank account is the only thing that's at stake. They're not going to be able to come after your personal checking account, your house, your car, any assets, other assets that you have for the most part. Very limited requirements for an LLC. You can just create your operating agreement as you please. As opposed to with a corporation. So a corporation has a lot more requirements. I don't usually recommend forming a corporation for new business owners or small business owners, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur or just starting. And the reason is because there are corporate formalities. For example, you should have a board of directors, you should have meeting minutes every so often. There are certain formalities that you have to follow when you have a corporation. And if you don't follow those procedures, then you are exposed to personal liability. So for example, if you decide to start your business as a corporation and you don't have a board of directors, or you don't have meeting minutes, or you don't have bylaws, or you're not keeping track of your records, then God forbid if someone sues your business, they will be able to say, look, they're not acting like a corporation. They don't have any of these things that are required. I want to go after that person as an individual. they have money, they have a house, they have all this money in a checking account or whatever the case may be, and that will expose you to liability as a corporation. So I usually recommend the LLC. There are not that many formalities for the LLC, so it's easier for small entrepreneurs. Partnerships is another option. I don't really like partnerships that much, and lawyers are tending to stay away from partnerships because for partnerships, at least one partner has to have personal liability. So that means at least one person that owns the business, at least one partner, has to be exposed personally. So although other partners have that limited liability that I was telling you about, at least one person has to be exposed personally. So that's not really good for small businesses. Lastly and least, usually they say last but not least, but last and least, is a sole proprietorship. And that's basically if you were to just, run your business as yourself. So if I was Dana Thomas, which I am, but if I was just running my business as Dana Thomas, signing my contracts as Dana Thomas instead of the law office of Dana Thomas, then I'd be running as a sole proprietorship. So for obvious reasons, a sole proprietorship is really not that good. It would expose me to personal liability, and also it creates some barriers if you're trying to start a bank account or open business credit cards. Usually they require a tax ID number, and if you are operating as a sole proprietor, then you don't have a tax ID number. Next, you'll probably have to need a business license. I'm currently in Atlanta, Georgia. For all businesses in Atlanta, you need a business license for each location. They're probably not going to come after you if you don't file for your business license the first day that you start your business, but it should definitely be top of mind and top of list. It's only $125 for the fee, but it's worth getting it. You need to get it as soon as you can. Next, we talk about some contracts, also one of my favorite topics. So if you have an LLC, you'll need an operating agreement, and the operating agreement basically details who owns the LLC, how things will be run, how will you vote on things, how money is going to be distributed, if there are any losses, how it's going to be distributed. Let's see, what are the responsibilities of each member, those type of things, which is very important, especially if you're not the only member or the only owner of your LLC. If you own an LLC with someone else, you should definitely invest in an operating agreement. I've seen situations where there is no operating agreement, or if the operating agreement isn't drafted by a lawyer, or if it's not drafted clearly or well enough, that there's still issues and you end up in court. So the last thing you want to do when you start your business is have to spend fees or spend time and money fighting a battle that could have been fixed by just having a proper contract or operating agreement in place. So if there was a corporation, the same thing would be for the bylaws, and for a partnership, it would be a partnership agreement. The next thing that I usually do for my clients are client agreements. So once you have your LLC, which I'll work with, once you have your LLC, you should have agreements with the clients that you'll be working with. So especially if you have a service. So if you're providing a service to someone, there should be a contract in place that states how everything is going to be laid out, how much is going to be paid for your service, what the timeline is going to be, what the expectations are, if there are any issues, if a refund is required, if refunds are even allowed. It'll just lay out what everything is supposed to be so that your client can know exactly what to expect. And in the event that there are any issues, you can just revert back to the contract and will be able to fix it right away. All right. Lastly, your bank account. So once you form your LLC, you'll be able to get an EIN number online, and you can take that EIN number and go to the bank and open your business bank account. So what you'll need is your EIN number, and you'll also need your articles of organization that you'll get from the Secretary of State when your LLC or other business entity is formed for you. So those are the two documents that you'll need when you go to the bank. Usually the bank has fees. I think if you keep $1,500 or more in your bank account, then you don't have to pay those fees. But bank accounts, definitely important to keep your limited liability. When you have a LLC or a business, all the money that you get paid for your business should go into your business bank account. Don't take the money and put it in your personal checking account and then just use your business bank account as like a savings account or something like that. No, that will mess up your limited liability. So make sure that anytime you get paid for your business, you take that money, you put it in the business bank account, and then you can pay yourself there every 2 weeks or every month or however you choose. Just make sure you pay yourself from the business bank account and not just use it as your own personal checking account, because that can get you in trouble and you can lose your limited liability. All right, next, fun stuff, money, funding. One of the biggest questions and the biggest holdbacks for people who want to start businesses. I don't have any money. How am I going to start a business? I only have XYZ in my bank account. There are options for people who want to start businesses and don't have all of this money to get started with. So I'll go through your options for funding. So first, friends and family. So you got to start with them. Sometimes they might even want the opportunity to invest in you. You never know. So seek out your friends and family. Don't beg them. Just, go to them with your business plan and just see if they want to invest in it. You can let them know what your plans are. Be very professional so it doesn't just seem like you're begging for money. But the more professional you are, give them an opportunity to invest in your business. I did the same thing. Next, you can do private loans. I know we don't like to do loans. And I probably wouldn't recommend this unless you really, really need it, but there are some options out there. You can go to prosper.com or Avant, which is AVANT, or even banks. So they'll give you, depending on your credit, they'll give you a small business loan so that you can get started on your business. More than likely, you'll have to start repaying it back right away, which is probably the next month after you get it. So it's not like a student loan where you have 6 months later to start paying it back when you get your feet off the ground. You usually have to start paying it back right away. You can also look into government programs, which will have a lower interest rate. So you can look into SBA loans, which is the Small Business Administration. So they have programs in place. But the only thing with the SBA loans is that you have to secure the debt. So what that means is you have to basically provide collateral for the amount of money that you are borrowing. So for example, if you want to get from the government $15,000 as a loan, you have to probably use as collateral your car if your car is worth $15,000 to say, okay, look, if I don't give you back this money, you can take my car. So that's kind of risky with these SBA loans. But the thing is, if you have a really, really good business plan and if you're solid in what you're going to do, then you can be pretty confident that you'll be able to repay the loan back at a lower interest rate. Another option is venture capitalists or angel investors. Kind of should save them for when you really, really, really need money. Like if you have this huge app idea or something like that and you just know it's going to be great and you have a solid business plan and you've ran it by your mentors and people who have done it before, then you can consider or should consider venture capitalists and angel investors. They're different because they will want likely equity in your business. So if you've ever seen Shark Tank, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You pitch to people or give them information about your business and how it's going to make them money and how it has been making money. And if they like your idea and believe in you, then they're willing to give you money for a certain percentage. It tends to be harder to get money from venture capitalists and angel investors because you have to show them that you're actually already making money. So if you're starting out, that's probably not the best way to get funding or a good use of your time if you haven't had a track of how you have been making money from your business. Another new idea is crowdfunding. So like it or send me a message or something if you ever heard of crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is basically when regular people in the community want to give you money for your business. So if you've seen GoFundMe, that's a form of crowdfunding. So people have used GoFundMe for, health issues or different things like that, but you can use GoFundMe for your business. Another one is Kickstarter. Another one is Indiegogo, which is INDIEGOGO. Another one is Rocket Hub. Another one is Razoo.com. That's RAZOO.com. Another one is AppBacker. That's APPBACKR. And basically that one is if you have an app. So if you have an app, that one is tailored specifically for people who have an app that want to participate in crowdfunding. Another one is crowdfunder.com, which is for angel investors, as I talked about before. They're actually going to take a piece of your company. So those are some options for crowdfunding. And last but not least, this was something that I recently learned and started to look more into. And I want to ask you guys a question first, see if you know the answer. What do these companies have in common? Mattel, Dell, Starbucks, Apple, eBay, Google, Whole Foods, and Guitar Hero. Send some messages now if you think you know. I'll wait for 5 seconds to see what answers I get. Don't be shy. All right, no one's got the answer so far, but what the answer is, all of those companies, no ideas. All of those companies started on credit cards. Credit cards. I know we're all thinking, no, I don't want to get any more debt. I'm not using any credit cards. But think about it. If you already have credit cards now, you have a balance, right, on your credit card, more than likely. What did you spend that money on? Did you spend it on food? Did you spend it on shopping? Did you spend it on a TV? You spent it on something more than likely that's not going to make you more money. So don't be afraid to get credit cards for your business. There's a difference between good debt and bad debt. The bad debt is debt that's not going to make you more money. So when you use that credit card for, like I said, dinner, shopping, the movies, different things like that, those things are not going to make you money. So that's bad debt. Good debt are things that will make you money. So if you need to get different things for your business, or you need to invest in someone to do your website, or if you need to pay for really good business cards, if you don't have the cash right now, take out credit cards to fund your business. You have to be very disciplined. So if you are not the type of person that is disciplined with your credit cards, don't do it. But if you are someone that's disciplined with your credit cards, don't be afraid of credit cards. Like I said, Mattel, Dell, Starbucks, Apple, eBay, Google, Whole Foods, Guitar Hero, they all started on credit cards because they were disciplined and they knew that they had to use that debt to make money, which is exactly what happened. So you can go to creditcards.com, which is a website that will give you a list and compare all the credit cards that are out there, let you know how likely you are based on your credit to get them, and just gives you different options. So there are so many credit cards now that offer 0% for 12 months. So that means you pay 0 interest for a whole 12 months. So you can take advantage of different things like that. Like I said, just make sure that you are very disciplined with your cards. Good debt. Spend credit card debt on things that will make you money. All right, next we're going to talk about your brand. Another one of my favorite topics. So it took me years to build my brand. So if you guys have been following me, I'm reading the questions. What if your business fails after you use credit? Okay, so the question was, what if your business fails after you use credit? The answer is, make sure your business does not fail. Do not take out a credit card if you are not ready, or don't use your credit card if you're not ready and solid and committed to your business plan. Make sure that you have a plan for how you're going to make everything work. Don't just take out the card and start spending money and not knowing exactly where every dollar is supposed to go and how it's going to make you more money. So just make sure your business doesn't fail. It's going to take hard work, but plan it out. Plan where every dollar is going to go and just make sure that you track that money. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay, talking about brand. So it took me years to build my brand. And if you've been following me online, I've been posting articles about entertainment. I've been posting articles about starting businesses and entrepreneurship and reposting and doing all those things for years, so that when I started my law firm, people would already know me as the lawyer for business or entrepreneurship and entertainment. So it takes years to build a brand. Consistency, exactly, Sharon. Consistency is so important with your brand. You can mess up your brand by one bad post or whatever the case, whatever mistake that you might have posted online. So consistency is very important. Build your brand from now. So even though you may not plan on starting your business tomorrow or even this year, start building your plan from now. So for example, if you want to do health and beauty, start posting videos about health and beauty, start reposting things, start following people, start posting articles and different things, so that when people Google your name, all they'll see is health and beauty, if that's what you're into. And over the years, people will see. You can blog, like Sharon said, you can blog. I did that also. I started a blog while I was in law school. So just make sure that when somebody types your name in Google or whatever the search engine they're using, that whatever you want to be known for or whatever your brand is, they find that. So if they click on your Twitter page, they see in your bio that you are about whatever the industry is that you plan on starting your business for. Start building that brand now. Don't only build your brand when you're ready to start your business. Takes time. Next, we'll talk about your name. The name of your business is very important. The name of your brand is very important. And the reason I say that is because of trademark considerations. So it's harder to get a trademark for certain names than others. So for example, Apple. Apple is in the tech space. It was easy for them to get a trademark because the word Apple has nothing to do with the tech space. So the further away your name is from what you're actually doing, the easier it is for you to get a trademark. So just consider that. And it's even easier if you make up a word like Kodak. Kodak is not a word. Kodak was made up. It was very easy for them to get a trademark for Kodak as it relates to photography services. So those are some things that you can consider. I have brainstormed with my clients, probably sitting down for an hour or so, just thinking of names for them and just going through different things and having different ideas and writing things down. Even though I'm a lawyer, I'm so invested in my clients. I even help them pick names, and I get so excited about it. Next, you consider your logo. Your logo is also something that's important for your brand. There are also trademark considerations for that. Get someone, a professional, to do your logo if you can. I think your logo is very important to make sure that your brand is consistent. Next, you want to consider marketing tools. So nowadays we have social media, we can do emails, we can do cheap $5 ads on Facebook. Just make sure that you are considering your audience. Who are you trying to go after? If your target audience is a 65-year-old person, you're probably not going to find, well, nowadays you might, but usually you might not find them on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. Just make sure that you're considering the type of person that you are targeting for the type of marketing tools that you're going to use. Next, we're going to talk about your website. You can go to GoDaddy.com to make sure that your domain is available. What I did was, before I even named my website, my business, I wanted to make sure that Dana Thomas Law was available. I was checking it out for years and years and years, and I even bought the domain probably a year before I got started. So it's okay. It's I think $19 for the domain for 2 years. It's really cheap. So definitely invest in that. You don't have to wait until you actually start your business or have a website to buy your domain. Just go to GoDaddy.com and then type in different things to see what's available. There was just a question. If you want to just send that again, I'll be able to answer. I didn't get to see it. Let's see. Namecheap. Someone said Namecheap.com is another website for domain names. All right. Websites to build your website. So I've used Wix. I like Wix because Wix allows me to just drag and drop. For whatever reason, I do not find WordPress to be simple for me. I don't know why. Most people find it to be simple, but I use Wix.com. That's W-I-X, and it allowed me to have different animations, videos, and things like that, and it was really easy for me to use. So if you want to have more of a, I wouldn't say flashy, but more of a bold, fun website, Wix is definitely great. If you want something simpler, WordPress is good too. Both of those do well with SEO, which is basically keywords that will make it easier for people to find you when they do a search for the type of service that you're in. Someone mentioned Weebly.com for websites, so you can check that out. Definitely heard of that one, but I haven't used it before. Question, would you be able to describe the difference between a trademark and a copyright? What if you create your own logo with free fonts? Okay, I'll do the first one first. The difference between a trademark and a copyright. So I'll start with a copyright. A copyright, it can be relevant for your business. Copyright is for works of art that are, I'll use legal terms and I'll explain it, fixed in a tangible medium. So that just means that fixed in a tangible medium just means that you wrote it down or you recorded it. So if you write a song or if you record a video, like this video, for example, because it's a recording that's fixed in a medium, it's fixed in my phone, I have a recording, I can play it back, I have a copyright over this recording. If you write a song or you write a story, you have to actually write it down on paper, or you can draw a picture on paper, then you have a copyright. So when you have a work of art or a body of art, you have a copyright. A trademark protects your brand. So if you have a name or a picture or logo that's associated with your business or a service that you're providing in commerce, meaning services to people for money, or it could be free depending on some circumstances, then you have to have a trademark over that. So basically the difference is copyright is for works of art that you actually have to write down, draw on a canvas, record on a recorder, but trademarks are a brand that is used in association with your business or your service, your product or your service. Hope that helped. The second question was, what if you use your logo, if you create your own logo with free font? So if you create your own logo, you own the logo, it's yours. So you own the copyright in that, so long as you didn't copy your logo from someone else. As far as a trademark for your logo, you can get a trademark for that logo as well. Usually you'd hire a lawyer to make sure that you can actually register that trademark, because it depends on whether there are things that are already registered out there, whether federally registered, that are substantially similar to the logo that you're using. So it's very in-depth, the type of searches that you would have to do to protect your trademark. But that's why you pay a lawyer to do it, so that you can go and do what you're good at, which is your business or your passion. So hopefully that answered your question. All right, we'll keep going with branding. What's the best way to know if your logo design you created mirrors that of someone else? The question was, what's the best way to know if your logo design you created mirrors that of someone else? The best way to know is to get a lawyer to do the search for you. If you try to do it on your own, I promise you, you wouldn't even know what you were looking for, and would waste a lot of your time. Trademark lawyers are trained in that area to know exactly what to look for, and there are certain laws in place that you have to consider when you're looking at different logos. So that's really a tough question. Your attorney will be able to help you to figure that out, but yeah, it just really depends. So I hope that was able to help you out. Next, in branding, we're going to talk about business cards. Business cards for me are so important. It is usually your first impression when you meet someone. My business card is like an inch thick if you've ever received one. I just think that it's so important to make that good first impression. You can definitely use Vistaprint. I think they're $10 for 250 business cards if you're just getting started. I did that at first. It worked totally fine. I made my own design. Make sure you have a business card. Your business card should have your company name on it, your name, email address, phone number, and website at minimum. If you don't have a website, that's okay. What I did at first was I had my LinkedIn on there, and my LinkedIn talked about what I was into, which was entertainment law and entrepreneurship law. There's also another company called The Logo Company, and they created my business card, and they did an excellent job. So you can look into them for more fancy, I guess, business cards. What if you have more than one business? Okay. What if you have more than one business as it relates to business cards? I think that one depends. It depends on what the two businesses are. If they're related, I think it's okay for them to be branded branded together. But if they're not related, then you might want to keep them separate. But we can talk offline about that one. Feel free to send me an email at dana@danathomaslaw.com, which is DAYNA@DAYNATHOMAS law, LAW.com. All right, moving on. Number 6, which is one of my favorites also, I say that about everyone, your goal and your vision for the future. So when you're starting a business, you should know what you want your end result to be. That is going to help you plan. If you don't know where you want to be, how are you going to know how to get there? So what does your life look like? So close your eyes and think about, what do you want your life to look like 10, 20 years from now? Are you going to be still trading time for money? Are you still going to be working in the office? Are you still going to be selling your product yourself? Are you going to be at home with your family and your kids? Are you going to be somewhere sipping a pina colada in the Caribbean somewhere? Are you going to be spending a lot of time with family? What are you going to be doing? Are you going to be volunteering a lot? So are you going to be flying jets? Are you going to be living just a simple, comfortable lifestyle? Think about what you want your life to be. That is so important for starting a business, because if you don't, like I said, if you don't know where you want to be, you're not going to know how to get there. So definitely think big. Sometimes we think too small based on where we came from or what our parents have done or what we see around us, but you don't have to limit yourself based on what you see around you. You can do anything that you want. Think huge. If you think that it's such a huge accomplishment to own a business, think about owning 5 businesses. It's totally possible. You just have to take off the limits that you have on yourself. So think about if your life could really, really be perfect and make you happy, what would that look like? Don't limit that based on what you think is achievable. Really, really write down and think about what that's going to be. All right, so what are you driven by? Like, are you driven by family? Are you driven by happiness? I'm driven by happiness. I don't do anything if it doesn't make me happy, and I am so quick to drop something if I'm not happy. So I'm driven by happiness. I'm not driven by money. I like speaking to my clients. Most times I go over the hour for my consultation because I just like talking to them, and I like motivating them, and I like talking about their business and how they got started. It makes me happy. So even though I'm not getting money for that time, I'm getting to know another person and how I could help them. So what are you driven by? It's rarely ever money. People think, oh, I just want to be rich. So what I want you guys to do now or later is this exercise that will definitely help you streamline your vision for your life and why you're actually doing this and why you want to start a business. So if you take out a piece of paper, you can write down the question or think about it. You can just think about it. Why do you want to start a business? And then so you write down the answer for that. No more than 1 to 2 sentences, and you can't say the same answer over again. So you think about, why do I want to start a business? Okay, I want to start a business because XYZ. Why do I want XYZ? I want XYZ because ABC. Why do you want ABC? I want ABC because of 1, 2, 3. So keep doing that at least 6 times, and I promise you, if your first answer was I want to be rich, you're going to get really deep down into what the core reason is why you want to start your business, and that is what's going to drive you every day to keep going. So do that exercise, share it with your friends. It's really going to change your life and just keep you focused when times seem to go really hard. All right, next, and I promise we're almost done. Next is continuing your education. Even though you might have started your business and things might be going well, always keep learning. You never stop learning. And you can do that by getting books, continuing to read books, take some time, maybe an hour every night or 10 minutes, whatever you can do. Books, magazines, webinars. I'm constantly signing up for webinars when I see them online just so I can learn different things. Podcasts, your iPhone, if you do have an iPhone, has a podcast app, and just search a keyword for what you want to know more about or what your business or service is. Usually I would fall asleep to podcasts, or I would listen to these podcasts in the car while I'm driving to work or driving to school. It's really pumping that good information that you need. Any preference on good books? That depends on your industry. So if you email me and tell me kind of what your industry is, I'll be able to hopefully give you some recommendations on good books. But as far as getting your mind right in general, the book Outwitting the Devil is really good. Someone said Rich Dad, Poor Dad, great. But Outwitting the Devil is a really good book that just talks about how the devil is trying to use you to stop from being great in your life. So hopefully it'll, be useful for you as it was for me. Someone else said Think and Grow Rich. That helps also. I know that book. I'm listening to it on audio right now in my car. It's awesome. And pretty much all of those books say the same thing. And basically what the lesson is, stop limiting yourself. There's no such thing as fear. Fear is fake. have your eye on the prize. Don't limit yourself and just continue to work hard. All right, moving on, continuing your education. Mentors. Mentors are so important. I have some awesome mentors for the past probably 3 years that have been with me as I went through my journey from law school to starting my business. You can have different types of mentors. It doesn't have to be someone that has done exactly what you want to do. It can just be someone that's there to motivate you or someone that's there to make, the right connections that you might need. But have great mentors so that when you don't know what you're doing at some points or you need a question, you have someone that's there that is invested in your success. Go to events, different events that can teach you different things about your business or service, or even get down to searching the web for answers that you might need. I do Google searches all the time for different things that I need to learn more about, and that's a form of education. Nowadays, with the internet, there's no reason that you can't find the information that you need, so use it to your advantage. All right, last but not least, and I talked about this before, definitely not least, the most important to me thing that you need to start a business. Ready? The most important thing you need is faith. You have to have faith that it is going to work. I always say that even though I own my business on my own, God is my business partner. Whenever I don't know what to do or whenever I'm feeling a certain type of way or I need some guidance, I go to my business partner and I talk to him about what I need help with, and then he always has the answer. So just make sure that you have faith that you can actually do what you're trying to do. If someone else has done it, you can definitely do it too. Oprah, Tyler Perry, Jim Carrey, Steve Harvey, they're all those are mentors in my head. And they all say the same thing. You have to know and believe that it will work. Of course, you have to put in the time and the effort into it and the strategies and have the right people around you, but you have to know that it's going to work. If you don't believe that it's going to work, then it's likely not going to. So just make sure that you stay positive, and just recognize when it's the enemy trying to bring you down. So just keep moving forward. Prayer, if that's what you believe in. I believe in prayer. Just know that your opportunities are limitless, and whatever you can envision for your future and for your business, you can make it happen. So have the right team, make sure that you plan it out properly, and just take it step by step. Don't be afraid. Fear is fake, like I said before, but just make sure that you have everything lined up. And for whatever you don't know, get someone on your team that knows how you should make your move. So I hope this session was useful for you all and that you have information that you need. Of course, there is quite a bit more information that you should know when you want to start a business, but I just wanted to give you all the most important things, for me at least, to share with you. So, of course, I would be happy to work with any one of you that want to start your own business. I did it all myself, so I know what it takes. It definitely wasn't an easy route, but it's definitely worth it. So I feel like my purpose in life is to help create more entrepreneurs, because I really feel like that's the way towards happiness for most of the world. So if you need assistance, feel free to reach out for me. My email address again is it's Dana at danathomaslaw.com, which is DAYNA at DAYNA Thomas, THOMASLAW.com. My website is danathomaslaw.com, and feel free to reach out to me on social media, Dana Thomas Law on every type of social media. And I hope this was really helpful for you guys. Just know that you can do it. Fear is fake, and just make sure that you have people on the team that can help you make it happen. So feel free to email me questions if you have on social media. You can send me comments or anything else. And with that said, I am out.